the young, and the restless spoilers. Summer could feel her heart racing as she discreetly followed Kyle. She had noticed something off about him for days, a secretive air that didn't suit his usual demeanor. Determined to uncover whatever Kyle was hiding, Summer had taken to shadowing him, her instincts screaming that something significant was unfolding. The turning point came when Summer overheard Kyle making arrangements for a trip to Paris. Her suspicion deepened as she learned that he intended to take Harrison, their son, along. The sudden decision to travel, coupled with the inclusion of Harrison, set off alarm bells in her mind. What could possibly be driving Kyle to Paris, and why was Harrison involved? The pieces of the puzzle were scattered, but Summer was determined to piece them together. Through her covert observations, Summer discovered a name that had resurfaced in their lives: Tara. Recently released from prison, Tara had chosen to stay away from Genoa City, the place that had seen her downfall. The scars of her past were too fresh, and the thought of returning to the scene of her disgrace was unbearable. However, one desire had overridden all others: the longing to see her son, Harrison. Tara had been in contact with Kyle, a revelation that shook Summer to her core. Kyle had kept this from everyone, including his girlfriend Claire. The secrecy was not without reason. Kyle knew that Claire's reaction would be anything but understanding, potentially escalating the situation to dangerous levels. Yet, Kyle's empathy for Harrison's yearning to see his mother had driven him to arrange the clandestine meeting. The implications of this were enormous. Kyle's decision was born out of love for his son, but the secrecy and the potential consequences made it a ticking time bomb. Summer's thoughts whirled as she processed the implications. What were Kyle and Tara planning? How would this affect Harrison, who was already struggling with the complexities of his young life? Determined to uncover the truth, Summer made a bold decision. She booked herself on the same flight to Paris, ready to shadow Kyle every step of the way. The flight was tense, her mind racing with possibilities. What awaited them in Paris? And why was Tara staying hidden? As they landed in Paris, Summer's determination only grew. She kept a careful distance, her eyes never leaving Kyle and Harrison. The City of Lights, with its romantic allure, seemed a stark contrast to the web of secrets they were entangled in. Summer followed Kyle through the winding streets, her heart pounding with anticipation and fear. Eventually, they reached a quiet, upscale neighborhood. Kyle led Harrison into a discreetly elegant apartment building. Summer waited outside, her mind racing. What was happening inside? Why had Tara chosen this particular place for the reunion? As the minutes ticked by, Summer's anxiety grew. Inside the apartment, the reunion between Tara and Harrison was both emotional and heart-wrenching. Tara's eyes filled with tears as she embraced her son, whispering apologies and reassurances. Kyle watched from a distance, his heart heavy with conflicting emotions. He had orchestrated this meeting for Harrison's sake, but the secrecy weighed heavily on him. Outside, Summer's patience was wearing thin. She needed to know what was happening. Summoning her courage, she approached the building and slipped inside. She navigated the corridors, following the faint sound of voices until she reached the door of the apartment. Through a crack, she saw Tara, Kyle, and Harrison together, their reunion unfolding. Summer's heart ached as she witnessed the tender moment. The love between mother and son was palpable, but so were the complications. Tara's decision to stay away from Genoa City, Kyle's secretive actions, and the potential fallout with Claire all loomed large. Summer knew she needed to confront Kyle, but she also understood the delicacy of the situation. Summoning her resolve, Summer knocked on the door. The room fell silent as Kyle opened it, his eyes widening in shock at the sight of her. Tara looked equally surprised, and Harrison's innocent gaze darted between the adults, sensing the tension. "Kyle, we need to talk," Summer said, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "This can't go on in secret. We need to find a way to handle this together." Kyle nodded, the weight of his actions evident on his face. He stepped aside to let Summer in, knowing that the time for secrecy had ended. Together, they would have to navigate the complexities of their intertwined lives, facing the challenges head-on for the sake of their family. As they sat down to discuss the future, the room was filled with a mixture of relief and apprehension. The path ahead was uncertain, but one thing was clear: they would face it together, with honesty and determination.